cracks appear to widen in the U.S.-Israeli relationship over opposing views on how to approach the Iranian issue. Tel Aviv, upset by Washington's opposition to launching strikes on Tehran's nuclear facilities, now saying the position actually plays into Iran's hands. RT's Irina Galushko joins us now from Tel Aviv with the details. So, Irina, how serious is this rift between Washington and the Jewish state over possible strikes on Iran?
Well, it's hard to tell about the severity of the rift right now, but it's definitely there. The Israeli officials have made it obvious that they're not happy with the statements made by U.S. top defense officials who say that Israel should not carry out a strike on Iran. They warned them to give some time for the sanctions to take place, and the sanctions have been tightened. And Israel is clearly not happy with the rhetoric that they have been hearing from Washington, D.C., and also from the top U.S. official who has been in Tel Aviv just over the weekend. Again, calling on the Israeli top brass to keep things down and allow Iran some time before carrying out any attack which could promote greater instability in the region. In fact, this also comes after a UK defense official has also warned against carrying out a strike on Tehran's nuclear facilities, saying that at this point it's not yet clear whether or not they are indeed making a nuclear bomb. And if Israel does go through with the strikes, this may portend a far greater dangers than there are present at the moment. This, in fact, could be the beginning of another Cold War in the region. At the same time, in Tehran itself, you can hear the echoes of all of these threats coming from Israel and of the disagreements with the U.S. The Iranians are actually carrying out a military exercise at the moment in order to heighten the degree of alert and to train their forces along with the country's guard to prevent the possible strikes on their nuclear facilities from being carried out. Those training exercises will go on for about 4 days, at the same time as the IAEA observers teams are also in the country to see what is happening with Iran's nuclear program right now. But of course, Israel is not convinced that Tehran is not preparing to make an atomic bomb again. They're not happy with the statements and with the call on keeping things down on the down low that's coming from Washington, D.C. right now. And that does indeed show a rift happening between Tel Aviv and Washington, D.C.
All right, RT's Irina Galushko live for us from Tel Aviv. Thanks for that report. Meanwhile, the UN nuclear inspectors back in Iran for a second time in less than a month. The IAEA team is expected to hold key talks over Tehran's nuclear program with the Islamic State, hoping to dispel all allegations of its military purpose. Despite growing international pressure triggered by Iran's atomic development, some experts think the West's war rhetoric may be misguided.
There is no evidence that Iran is developing a nuclear weapons program. There is only evidence that Iran has a nuclear energy program, which Iran says it does. There is no evidence that Iran is violating the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. All of these facts are in contrast with Israel and the United States, by the way, which if these were justifications for war, there would be justification for war against us. But of course they are not. And this crazy media madness leads us down this same path where we all begin to assume that if Iran does have a nuclear weapons program, then we need to nuke it. And nobody can prove it doesn't. The president himself claims not to want war with Iran, but suggests that it's up to Iran to cease its probably non-existent nuclear weapons program, or the blame is on Iran and we should have a war. Whereas, of course, there is no such thing as a justification for a war based on what weapons a country has.